Build your better breakfast at Subway with the tasty 250 combo, a 16-ounce cup of freshly brewed Seattle's best coffee, and any delicious egg muffin melt. And don't hit the snooze on this deal. Right now, come in before 11 a.m. for a $5 foot-long breakfast sub. Subway, eat fresh. The B.S. Report is a free-flowing conversation that occasionally touches on mature subjects.
First of all,
This is the B.S. Report with Bill Simmons.
it might be cool, I don't know. And if it's not, I don't care.
The B.S. Report with Bill Simmons.
Bill Simmons works for ESPN. He's also named the sports guy, and he writes a comical sports column. He must be a popular dude.
The B.S. Report.
It's got a real dirty sound, like a rusty steak knife cutting through a well-aged steak.
Now.
Here's Bill Simmons.
Welcome to the B.S. Report. I am not in Southern California. I am in New York City, where it's freezing cold, and it's Frozen Spit Week. An old Letterman joke, but one of my favorites. It's cold, blustery, and on the Subway Fresh Take Hotline, someone who's also cold and blustery, Cousin Sal. What's happening?
Oh, you don't sound as excited as someone whose favorite NFL team just blew out another arch rival 72-3 just hours ago.
I wasn't worried. We weren't going to lose to them twice in the same season. Come on.
I thought maybe for once you'd be the miserable one on this podcast. That's why I was like, let's do it Tuesday. Sometimes we do it Monday, sometimes we do it Tuesday.
Come on.
Maybe there's a chance, but never even a minute of doubt.
It was Brewski night. You can't lose on Brewski night. I wish I had known that last week. I just forgot when I was making my Vegas Super Contest picks because Brewski night pushed it over the top. Come on.
Yeah.
What did you take away other than that? That game seemed to confirm our suspicions that maybe the Jets were a little fraudulent.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. I don't know. I give your team more credit maybe than thinking because the Jets now will bounce back and win convincingly like their last three of the last four or something. But really, no flaws on either side. I hate. Your head's gonna grow to immense size now, but
it's already big.
There's no flaws on this team now that they can run the ball and this Woodhead is. I think he's got more drive than just to beat the team that cut him. I actually think he's a viable option back there, and their defense is playing tough, and that's it. And they're 3-1 to win the Super Bowl now.
Wow.
Yep.
Is that true?
That's true. Atlanta and Pittsburgh 6-1, the next closest. But
here's the thing: you can run on the Pats though. Like the Jets, if you look at those stats last night, they did run the ball. It's just that anytime Sanchez had to make a play, he couldn't. They really shut down the pass, I thought. And especially once they fell behind, obviously it's you don't really want to run the ball that much when you're down 24-3.
Well, that's the key. There seem to be some teams with explosive offenses that just don't light it up. Like don't want to light it up early and put up 24, 27 points at halftime when it seems like they can. And the Patriots, their run defense might be a little suspect, but you don't get to see it because everyone's got to pass against them because they're so far behind. Yeah,
it was a good win. They took care of business. I still wonder, like the Jets. You just look at the way their season went, and they're 3 plays away from being 6-6.
Yeah,
and that was the one thing we were worried about with them when we kept trying to figure out if they're going to cover these big spreads and stuff like that. Like, is this team good, or is this team just really lucky at the end of games? And then you watch last night, and it just seemed like a mismatch. And also, that was the first time Sanchez 30-degree weather. Was the Cincy game cold last year? I don't remember. The playoff game.
Oh, the playoff game? Well,
wasn't that cold last year?
Well, it was the middle of January in Cincinnati.
Must have been cold.
Yeah.
I don't know. Some of those throws were just horrible. I mean, they were like Derek Anderson-esque.
He could have had a lot more than some of those out plays or the ball bounced around the Pats defender's hands. It's been a lot worse than it was.
That one throw inside the 10 where the linebacker picked it off, but if he didn't, the 3 other guys covering his receiver would have.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't good.
Yeah, that was a write-off game for the Jets, but I think they're decent.
People should learn that with the Patriots, it's just not good to just do that much talking.
Yeah.
It's really not. Just keep your head down and play them and try to knock them in the teeth like the Giants did.
You're talking about Brady and his hair transplants?
Come on. What do you mean hair transplants?
That's what they're saying. He's got hair transplants.
Stop it.
I think that's what motivated him. It all works against everyone else eventually. So
it's just not good to do that much talking before kind of lay low, do that thing. I think they're the clear number one now. I mean, I'm not saying that's going to hold 8 weeks from now, but I think right now they're playing the best. They can do the most things. They're really tough at home. Brady's now 26 regular season in a row. Mm-hmm. Pretty good.
I think they don't lose again until next fall. And maybe even the next fall if there's no football.
Oh, stop.
I'm telling you. Why? Who are they going to lose to now?
Well, I mean, the one team that could go in there and beat them is Baltimore because they did it last year.
Yeah.
And that's, although, that was another guy we need to talk about because Joe Choco in the Sunday night game, I don't think the announcers were mean enough about how bad those last two passes are and then getting strip sacked.
Right. Yeah, they're going after Cameron. That was a worst play call. But, yeah, you're right. Flacco got should have had a little more heat than he did.
Well, here's the thing. Polamalu is the guy you have to be terrified of at all times, right? He's lined up to your left, your Flacco. Like, don't you always know where he's on the field at least? Just like, oh, yeah, he's over there, just in case. I could keep that in the back of my head. I just don't know how you get strip sacked.
I would know where he is. With the long curly black locks flying around. I would know where that guy is.
He's not hard to identify. He's the guy who stands out from the other 10 guys of the Steelers defense.
Yeah.
And then and those two short arms. I don't know. He did it earlier in the year. He went into Pittsburgh and he led. Because we were wondering back then whether he was somebody that comes through when it matters. And he did it in Pittsburgh. So can't say he's never done it, but. Man, they really could have finished the Steelers off. And that game seemed like it was breaking perfectly for them because you had Roethlisberger, they're doing that weird shotgun. So right there it's like, oh, this doesn't look good. And then he breaks his nose on the first or second series, and it just seemed like that should have been a blowout at that point.
But that's just a chess match every year, right? I mean, it's the same score every year.
It's true.
Whoever makes the worst turnover at the end loses, and that's usually the case in a lot of games. But no offense is going to shine in that game. I'm not saying Joe Flacco's anything great, but
we watch football all day on Sunday, and the games are pretty bad. Mm-hmm. There wasn't really one great game. I mean, Dallas-Indianapolis was entertaining, but it certainly wasn't well played.
Right.
And then going home and then watching that Pittsburgh-Baltimore game, it was like watching a different sport.
It was awesome.
It was so much faster than we watched football for 7 hours, and it was like we were watching the minor leagues compared to that game. It was really good.
Yeah. I was hoping last night would be the same, but I guess we got enough with Pittsburgh-Baltimore.
Do you think the 2010 Patriots are playing better than the 2007 Patriots did?
That was the 15-1 team or undefeated team, whatever they were?
Yeah.
Right now, are they playing better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have your answer for you.
What? It's yes? No?
Yes, it's yes and no, because the 2007 Patriots in like the first 7-8 weeks before Sammy Morris went down, I think that was the best I've ever seen a football team play, especially offensively. But as the season went along and they couldn't run the ball as well, and they almost lost the Baltimore Monday night game. They really weren't playing that well down the stretch. This Patriots team is going the other direction, it seems like. I
think Brady is better when he doesn't have to rely on Randy Moss, even though the statistics were staggering that year for both those guys.
Yeah.
I think it's good. I think he's better when he could spread the ball around and he knows he can count on more guys and just not have to worry about Randy Moss there. It sounds stupid, but think about that Giant game. He was kind of locked into him, and it almost cost him. But
yeah, and then with Moss, you got the ego. You got to worry about taking care of him. They finally built a team. It took 10 years, but they finally built a team that completely plays to Brady's strengths of these interchangeable, speedy, short guys and the multiple tight ends who can catch and it's all the things that he does well. A lot of the misdirection and the trickery and all that stuff.
Yeah, the trick cameras set up on the sideline when they're not supposed to be.
We don't do that anymore.
Oh, you do that?
No, we don't do that anymore. I'm looking at the 2007 Patriots. They 31-28 beat Philly in Week 12. 27-24 beat Baltimore Week 13. Pittsburgh 34-13. Jets 20-10. Dolphins were terrible that year, but 28-7. And then the Giants the last week of the season, 38-35. So the Pats are playing better.
We'll get to it in a second. But they go to Chicago this week.
Yep, little trap game or a little letdown game. There's something's going on with that one.
It sure does look like it, but man, if everything shakes out, they should win this game handily. Unless they really just agree as a team to take the week off.
It's problematic for a couple reasons. One, it's the obvious letdown from the big Monday night win. We just see that a million times. And then it's an NFC game. They can say all they want. I know every game, we take one game at a time. They're all important, blah, blah, blah. But they're not quite as important. Your conference game, the San Diego and Pittsburgh games were more important, and the Colts games, so they could blow this game and still be fine.
Short week, yeah.
That worries me. Chicago cannot blow this game because Chicago is now at the point where they really might be able to get a bye week and host a week 2 home game,
Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy.
I blame my Cowboys for losing to them in week 2.
If they win this week, they're 10-3. They're at Minnesota next week, home for the Jets week 16, and then at the Packers week 17, which, they already beat the Packers, so if they're a game ahead going into that one, I guess it would come down to conference.
I don't know who wins the tiebreak. Well, that's why the Bears have to, I guess the Bears actually could lose an AFC game. It would get confusing, but they're looking good.
Yeah, I don't know. Week 14 is tough because this is when we're trying to figure out what's going to happen, and there's just too many scenarios.
Well, I just wish a few of these teams would go away already. Like a team like the Raiders, I'm like, all right, that's it. They'll lose last week, and that'll be that. We won't have to worry about them. And who else is like that?
I want to say Jacksonville's like that, but they're probably going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, they could make it. Jacksonville's another one.
The Bucs are like that. Well, we're going to talk about it because I really left you a heartbreaking message the other night.
Oh, I know. It was bad. It was bad. Tennessee's another one. They actually seem... Maybe let's get into the games. Thursday night, India, Tennessee. Tennessee has gone away. They can't score touchdowns, and it looks good for Indy this game.
We've seen a couple teams just really seem like they quit on their coach, and I hate to put Jeff Fisher in that group, but all the evidence points to them just packing it in on them.
Yeah, you get a couple of weeks where your team can't score a touchdown. That's saying a lot. It really is saying a lot.
And they've had off-field stuff, and I do think, if they can't get up for this game, then it's probably time to find a new coach for them.
I look at it the other way. The Colts, I couldn't love the Colts more this week. Are they going to lose 4 in a row? Are they really going to lose 4 in a row? And there's the night thing where they don't like losing at night. They just lost the other night at San Diego.
Yeah.
And what do you think the line is?
I said the line would be Colts by 4.
All right. I said 3, and it is 3. And that's too low. But I knew they would do this because they want to trap us.
That's too low. I will say this though: every year there's a team that loses a team that is a perennial contender that we just, they'll get it together. No, this is the week. And then all of a sudden they're not in the playoffs, and you look back at the little sheet that says what the record against the spread was every week, and for 7 straight weeks they don't cover. The Colts are in danger of moving into that territory.
Well, this is lost 4 in a row, though. That's the thing. Manning, you talk about the Manning face. He was we watched him against the Cowboys, and before he had even thrown those picks for touchdowns, he looked confused and clammy and like a sweaty old high school maintenance man who couldn't figure out how to start the lawnmower. He was out of it. He was so out of it. And
I think there's
blame for it after the game. So
I think there's a 95% chance he's hurt.
Yeah.
That one replay they showed in the Sunday night game 2 weeks ago when he was wincing before the sack came, and it wasn't Manning's not a wimp. He's not he's a guy that's played with some crazy injuries. He came back from knee surgery in 2 weeks a couple years ago, and he's not somebody that winces when he's about to get sacked. What was the stat today I was reading? Were a couple seasons where he never threw a pick six. And now he's thrown 4 in 2 weeks.
4 in 2 weeks.
It's got to go beyond just he misses Dallas Clark and his offensive line isn't that good, because we've seen him succeed in similar circumstances in the past.
Well, he should mention it. No one's going to look comparatively to Brett Favre, who whenever he gets a paper cut, he has a press conference.
Right.
Manning could mention it that maybe he's hurt or make something up, because this is getting embarrassing now.
Well, they looked really good against Houston in Week 8, which isn't saying a ton.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the game. It was a night game, Monday night. They laid the smack down, dominated. They looked like the old Colts.
Mm-hmm.
And then some guys went down. The Philly game, they barely lost, but he did come back in that game, and he played well. The Cincy game was kind of whatever. And even in the Pats game, he brought them back in the fourth. So, you look at the San Diego, I wonder if he got hurt in that Pats game at some point.
Yeah. Maybe you have to run the ball well in this NFL. Maybe everyone's right. Everyone's right. All right, on to Sunday, Atlanta at Carolina.
Ooh. I think this is the dreaded Atlanta by 7.5.
Wow, you got it exactly.
Yeah.
I said 9. I thought it would be 9. The Ravens gave them 9 a couple weeks ago. I thought Atlanta was just as good as them.
We're reopening the 30 for 30 series, trying to figure out how the Panthers didn't cover last week when they're 14-0 against Matt Hasselbeck.
How about the 32 of 32 series, and that they're the worst team in the league?
You think they're no. We still have them at 32?
No, I actually don't. Arizona has 2 more wins, and I think they have a firm lock on spot number 32.
I wouldn't count out. Well, at least Denver played KC a little bit tough.
Well, Denver plays Arizona this week, so that's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one.
Let me ask you this. Forget your allegiance to the Patriots for a second, and this is going to be hard to do, but who would you rather hang out with? The guy who screams law firm after every Green Ellis carry, or the guy who screams Matty Ice after every Matt Ryan completion?
The Matty Ice thing. He's got to have a Matty Ice moment that I can remember before he's Matty Ice.
I hate it. I think it's so obnoxious. At least the law firm thing, even though the guy next to you who's screaming it had nothing to do with making up the clever part of law firm, at least a nugget of that. And Matty Ice is just kill me right now.
What did you guess for the Falcons game?
I said 9. Yeah.
Oh,
you got it right. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Tampa at Washington.
It's a sad day.
It really is.
Josh Freeman doesn't win football games all the time, apparently.
Yeah, unless he's playing bad teams.
The Bucks in Washington are going to be giving 3.5 points.
All right, I said 3, and it's 2.5. It moved down.
Ooh. Well, we had, the Bucks lost their center, who was allegedly one of the best centers. This is one of those things where you can't pretend to even know who the best center is.
Mm-hmm.
When people go, oh, is he one of the 3 best centers? Okay, I believe you.
Yeah.
But they lost their cornerback, who I know for a fact is good because he would get interceptions and near interceptions and shut down guys. Talib.
Mm-hmm.
That's a deal breaker. I don't think they bounce back from both of those. And they're already 7-5. They're kind of out of it anyway. And that Falcons game was 24-14. Was it 24-14? Yeah, 24-14. They just scored. Crowd's going bonkers, and the guy runs the kickback on him for 7. But I mean, that was their season. That one play.
No, and he did throw an interception. I know you don't like you talking about it, but
I don't remember that. I don't remember Josh Freeman throwing an interception.
You probably don't remember this message you left me. This was actually yesterday. This is weird.
Oh.
You're drinking at all different times of the day.
I don't remember this.
All right, here, let me see if I can play it back. Record. All right. Just read off the ESPN ticker. Bucs center Jeff Fain out for the year. I'm here to tell you, it doesn't matter. Josh Freeman doesn't need a center. He can snap the ball to himself. He's that good. He doesn't need a left tackle, a helmet, or even a ball. Instead of a football, he can rumble to the goal line carrying my best-selling book, Now I Could Die, while flossing my teeth with Tiny Archibald's jockstrap. Now available on paperback. Cheerio.
I thought I mentioned Talib in that message. I guess.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what happened. Yeah, that might have been a different message.
Well, Talib. I don't see the Bucs bouncing back from that 48-hour period. And when you think Washington was so bad last week.
This is the team to maybe do it against, though, if you're going to bounce back.
There's a little upside potential, though. Just a tiny bit.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Have they quit on their coach? Is that possible?
They might just be bad.
Performance. That was just a no-show against the Giants.
Yeah, that was weird. Especially you don't no-show against NFC East teams.
Yeah.
I don't feel like the Jets no-showed yesterday. I think they just got their butts kicked. The Redskins no-showed the Giants.
Mm-hmm. Green Bay at Detroit.
You notice how many road favorites we had this week?
There are a lot. I know.
There's 3, 4, 9.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a lot.
We're not gonna. We won't know, but good.
I think this is Packers by 7.
Yeah, you have that exactly. I said 4.5. I went low on that.
Yeah.
Here's my thinking. Why are the Bears 4.5 against Detroit if they're the first place team, but Green Bay is 7?
Because it's a bigger game for the Packers, isn't it?
Well, now I guess it is a bigger game, but
aren't they a game behind the Bears though?
Yeah, but that was Drew Stanton's first game. Now Drew Stanton's got a little practice behind him. I guess 7's right. I mean,
but the Packers can score.
I wouldn't take the Lions at 4.5. Yeah, I love that Nate Burleson guaranteeing victory thing. So, and I had him. I was considering putting him in as my third wide receiver in fantasy, but then I'm like, he has so little to do with the outcome. How could he speak up?
So the Bears game started at 3.5 last week against the Lions, and it moved all the way up to like 5 or 5.5.
Yeah, it actually did go to 5.5. Yeah.
So basically, that's good for Vegas, right? Vegas won on all those bets from 4 and up.
Right.
4 was a push.
All that late money they won.
Yeah, they like that. They love when the line moves like that.
Yeah.
All right.
Congratulations, Drew Stanton. Get free steak and eggs at Binion's for the rest of his life.
That wasn't one of the main games we were concentrating on. It didn't seem like, you see some of these QBs and they're just hopeless. Like, I feel like Derek Anderson is hopeless now. I don't even feel like he can get a first down. Stanton seems like he can at least run around and do things.
That game, it was exactly what we thought, I think. Like, all right, this won't be close, and if it is, let's just watch the end of the fourth quarter because that's where the Lions will blow this.
Yeah, that game was what we thought it was.
Cincy at Pittsburgh.
Cincy's shown a little juvenation lately.
I said that. I gave them one more week, and they did.
I still think this line is going to be artificially high, and I like the Bengals. I'm going to say Steelers by 10.5.
All right, I hit it exactly. I said 9.5. And, the Bengals did everything right except that jumping off sides. They fell for that Breeze hard count on 4th down last week.
Right.
How does that happen? That's like, hey, when you're in like 4th grade, like, hey, put your hand to your face. I want to see if it's your hand is bigger than your face and you're mentally retarded, and they fell for it.
Especially because we're all sitting there going, he's trying to draw him offside.
Yeah,
this is a good one.
Not running a play here.
Yeah. You know what though? To me, that's like a little microcosm that your coach isn't good. Mm-hmm. Because like a Belichick guy wouldn't jump off in that scenario, or whoever. Anybody who's it's just if your team is sloppily coached, that's the kind of thing that happens.
Yeah, I guess so. It's just they were in the game all the way through, and just for that to happen, and now go to Pittsburgh.
So the Bengals, they played the Steelers tough, lost by 6. Played the Colts tough, lost by 6.
Mm-hmm.
They were up 28-3 in that Bills game, and just completely fell apart the hinges and lost.
That was a
nice
game. Yeah.
The Jets, Thanksgiving night, probably at least should have covered that one and didn't. Mm-hmm. And then really almost beat the Saints last week. So that line's too high, I think.
It is a little high. You know what? Watching, and Collinsworth said it, and then I heard it like twice since with the, say what you will about Ben Roethlisberger as a person.
I know, that's a tough one.
And then like, all right, I don't need to be reminded that they're two separate things as a player. And say what you will. Say what you will about OJ's crazy killing fetish, but the guy never is late for a dental appointment. He's a great player, but
yeah. Say what you will is a tough one. The ending is never going to be good for that sentence.
Yeah, like, Collinsworth has given me permission to say what I will about Ben Roethlisberger. Yeah. All right, Oakland at Jacksonville.
Oh, man, I hate this. Oakland and Miami I've had enough of.
That's it, right? I know.
Just enough. Just make an announcement whether you're good or you're bad.
I agree. We need one of these teams to get to 8 losses somehow this week.
The Raiders looked like they'd packed it in.
Uh-huh. Jags too. I mean, this is a tough one to root for.
I think the Jags we talked about this last week. I think the Jags kind of found themselves. Yeah, I don't think they're that bad. Yeah, I picked them last week in the Vegas contest. they know what they are. They run the ball now. They're going to pound the ball, and Mojo's going to win it or lose it for them, and they don't make mistakes. I'm going to say Jags by 6.
All right, you get this. I said 6.5. It's 5.
Vegas own.
So it's 3-3 so far, heading into the next game.
So if the Jags win that, they basically this is the case anyway. I mean, if they beat the Colts again, that division's over.
Yeah. But I guess we'll know, like, if the Colts win Thursday night, that's more pressure on the Jags. Maybe that line goes up a little bit. Maybe it goes up.
That Raiders one, I was all excited for the top 10 pick, and I think that one, they got to 6 wins. I think that kills it for the Pats.
What do you mean top 10? Oh, top 10 draft.
We have the Raiders pick, and then we have this Carolina pick that's going to be the 33rd pick now, unless they win again, which hopefully they won't. But
they're stupid. They'll probably just trade you back Richard Seymour for nothing. That's how it works out for the
We might have 16, 32, and 12, 32, and 33.
Yeah.
It's pretty good for a draft.
That's a lot.
I've never heard of 3 in the top 33. I'm sure it's happened, and I just don't remember.
But how much money is that you have to pay those guys?
Well, they're changing the salary scale, though.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that's going to happen in the lockout.
Yeah, but it's still going to be a lot. We're still going to have to lock up a lot of money for these things.
Plus, we got to sign Woodhead.
That's true.
Got to give him a raise. How great is it that he came back and haunted Rex like that? And then also all the people who watched him on Hard Knocks thinking that he should have made that team.
Yeah.
Over Joe McKnight, who was like, every time they showed him, he was surly.
They should have shadowed Woodhead like he was Michael Vick, because, whatever, you're going to lose to the Patriots, that's fine, but don't let that guy embarrass you. That should be job one. Are you kidding me? 50-yard run. Giants at Minnesota. There is a line on this, even though I haven't heard of Brett Favre.
I think this is Giants by 3.5.
I said 3. It's 2.5, so I get that one.
Wow.
I don't know. They're better without. I mean, Tavares Jackson didn't light it up with his 3 interceptions, but and Sidney Rice, maybe the catch of the year, by the way, with 3 defenders on him. But
changed the game. They had that. They got the kickoff fumble.
Yeah.
All of a sudden they were cruising. Tavares is just as erratic as Favre and will turn the ball over just as much, but at least he can run around and buy time, and I don't know. It feels like he makes them more dangerous.
Yeah. I feel like Peterson runs harder with Tavares at quarterback.
Maybe he likes him more.
Yeah. Well, it's just like the coach. I mean, it's probably guy players want to play for more.
Yeah.
Cleveland at Buffalo.
2 teams I've kind of enjoyed.
This will probably be the most entertaining early game, right?
Yeah. I'm going to hit this one exact. Browns by 3.
You didn't get. Wow. Wait, you're off by 4 points. And I said Buffalo by 1.5. It's Buffalo by 1. So,
really?
Yeah.
I thought Colt was coming back this week.
2-10, 5-7.
Is it? I thought Colt was coming back though.
Is he? I mean, we thought that last week too.
Oh, maybe I underestimated.
Still a road game for Cleveland. You can't really make them more than even, I think.
The one thing, we say this every year, we're hitting the point of the season where it's in the best interest for some of these teams not to win again. Especially this year with the Stanford QB, who everybody seems to, and you look at what Bradford did for the Rams, and even what Chaos Sue has done for the Lions.
Yeah.
If you can get one of those top 2, that could be a franchise changer. And, so we got the Bills, Bengals.
Wait, I'm confused now. What, the Bills, they've won at home, right? Who are their wins against?
They beat Detroit and they beat Cincy.
And both those were at home?
No, they won in Cincy.
They won in Cincy. Oh, so they have a home win. That's the only thing I was thinking. If they didn't have a home win, then they do have to play for that crowd at least once.
Bills, Bengals, Lions are all 2-10. But the difference of the Bengals is that Marvin Lewis is going to get fired unless they keep winning. So I think they keep trying. The Bills have a first-year coach, and the Lions have Schwartz. I mean, those teams be interesting.
Should be done.
The Panthers should pack it in, though. We can all agree the Panthers should intentionally lose these.
Yeah, and I feel with the Panthers, this is a weird thing to say, but they play like they don't owe their fans anything. It's like Buffalo, Detroit, these long-suffering fans. Seems like they might try every week.
Panthers might have thrown that game last week for the pick. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if there's an investigation.
Mm-hmm.
They were up, they were cruising. It really looked like, they're going to win this, and then all of a sudden they're down 20. Yeah.
But Peyton Hillis, real quick, top 5 fantasy pick.
Oh, we talked about this on Sunday.
What do we?
Who do we say was number? We agreed that Chris Johnson could be number 1 again right now.
No, I think maybe Foster number 1. Foster and Vic, I think, are 1, 2.
Right, you put Vic too?
Oh, sure. People like watching him. And he would.
See, I think Mojo's got to be 1.
Mojo, Peterson, those are 4, I think.
Mojo, Peterson. Who was the other running back you said?
Beanie Wells. No, Arian Foster.
Foster maybe 3, and then I think you do Vic Rogers in some order.
All right, so you don't even put Hillis in there.
Nah, I put Hillis like 6. The guy seems like he's always nursing some injury.
Mm-hmm. It would be something, having a white running back as your first pick in the draft.
Has that happened before?
I think I would go it. No way.
I mean, I think it happened in the 60s with Jim Taylor.
Yeah, not even then. New England and Chicago, so now we're in late afternoon.
I'm going to hit this one. Oh, I made my guess yesterday before I knew what was going to happen.
You could change it because I changed mine.
I'm going to just say, initially I had 3, but I'm going to say 3.5. Pats.
This is where it gets weird. Initially, I said 3, and then New England won by 175 points, so I said 5, and it's 3.
Oh, it didn't move.
Now, who's taking Chicago at 3 after watching what happened?
They want you to take the Pats in this because of that Monday night letdown. It just happens every time.
Yeah.
They love it. Vegas loves when you take the Monday night team that won big. It's their favorite.
It's such a hangover game. They should have Zach Galifianakis doing color commentary. That's how much of a hangover game this is. This is really insane.
That was a Jeff Ross joke. Martin Scorsoso.
He watched football with us Sunday, and it wore
He watched football with us, and somebody, I don't know if it was a mistake or if it was a great thing, but we asked him how the Quentin Tarantino roast went, and he proceeded to do his entire act on cue.
Absolutely. He did.
And it was really funny.
And then people were coming in later, and he was doing the jokes again, and then we did a podcast with Carolla, and he did the jokes a third time. And finally I got fed up on the podcast. I'm like, after 10 Quentin Tarantino is ugly jokes, I said, do you actually think you're better looking than Quentin Tarantino? What about you is better looking than Quentin Tarantino?
His jaw is a double feature.
He changed the face of film. Now they should return the favor.
It was great.
That was a good time.
A couple of the jokes, actually it sounded like Rob Schneider had the best joke about Travolta, which I can't say in the podcast, but yeah, it was good though.
The best part, and it was subtle, and of course we nailed him on it, is he's like, no, it's not going to air. No, it's not going to air. So he felt that he could be at liberty to tell us these jokes 4 and 5 times over. And then, magically, he found on his phone that he had recorded the roast.
Yeah.
Look at this. And he just came to his realization as he was at the bar, probably, a week later. It's like,
oh, I forgot it was on my iPhone.
What a discovery now.
I got to say, I like when he watches football with us.
I love the guy. It was fun.
Yeah, he really was. It was one of the funnier days we've had there.
Yeah. All right, Seattle at San Francisco.
Seattle's another one that needs to officially decide whether they're good or not.
Yeah. You know what? These 2 teams can go to hell, honestly. I know go to hell is not usually reserved for NFL franchises, but they can.
I know. I would say I've had it with the entire NFC West, but I've really enjoyed the Rams. And the Rams have been like just money week after week.
Yeah.
Hopefully
Vegas shut it down. You can't bet the NFC West to win anymore.
Shut up.
Gamblers were vomiting at the sportsbook counter, and they said,
I would have actually believed that.
Can't do it.
Well, we have of course, we ended up diving in and somehow picked the worst team.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember at one point, like week 2 or week 3, I emailed you that the Rams were 12-1, and we had the whole email conversation about whether that was good, and then we decided it was completely ridiculous that they would win the NFC West.
Why didn't we just go? That would have been the most fun team to root for. But
next year, let's do that when we see it 12-1, even if it's like a long shot bet.
All right.
I'm going to say the Niners are favored by 3.5 over the Seahawks.
I said 3, and it's 4.5.
4.5.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's 5-5 now between us. Yeah.
It feels like the Niners have played like 30 games.
I don't know. Yeah, you're right. They play all different countries, and they play on Monday nights.
Won't stop playing, and they're always kind of involved.
And I don't ever understand when they're favored by more than 3. So
yeah.
All right, St. Louis at New Orleans.
Yeah.
So if Seattle and St. Louis both lose like they're supposed to, they'll be 6-7 atop the NFC West going into.
I might have to dump the Bucks for the Rams.
What do you mean? For what?
Well, just in general, because they brought me so much gambling joy over the last few weeks.
Oh, all right. Well, we'll see what you leave on my voicemail.
I might have a Sam Bradford message for you next week.
All right.
I might dump Josh Freeman. I have the Saints by 7.5.
That's exactly what I had. I had 7.5, and it's 9.5.
That's too high. The Rams can actually beat the Saints. I'm not saying they will, but
you know what? They may
beat the Saints.
They may get 2 shots at it because this. We were talking about this. This could be a first-round playoff preview.
Oh, this is the 4-5, yeah.
The Saints are pretty much locked in the 5 if Atlanta just wins the games they should.
Yeah.
And the Rams. That would be the first Saturday playoff game there. And the Saints would still be favored by 7.
If you're the Saints, you would much rather see the Rams in round 1 than have to go to Qwest Field, where it would be, that's a terrible team, but at least they would have a deafening crowd, and they'd get special teams. They'd run trick plays.
Yeah.
I would not want to go to Qwest Field.
No, you're on the turf. You're the Saints. There's nothing better. You might as well be.
You want to play the Rams. You want the rookie QB. You want the team that overachieved. Yep. That's where you want to be. You want to be inside.
Yep. All right, Miami at the Jets.
Oh, screw you, Miami.
It's such a scatterbrained team.
Hate Miami. I had the Jets by 8. I'm going to downgrade that to Jets by 7 after last night.
I had 7 also. It's 5.5.
Oh.
That's too low. It's too low.
A little too low.
I have to think the Jets get it together a little bit.
Okay, Chad Henne, top 4 worst starter right now?
Oh, man. He is bad news. Now,
would you rather have Drew Stanton or Chad Henne?
I think Stanton.
Would you rather have Jake Delhomme or Chad Henne?
Oh, boy. Chad Henne.
Would you rather have Jimmy Clausen or Chad Henne?
Chad Henne still.
Would you rather have Derek Anderson or Chad Henne?
Oh, Chad Henne.
Would you rather have...
This league stinks.
It's not good. Would you rather have... Oh, there's one more. Who's the other one? Oh, Troy Smith or Chad Henne?
Oh, man, maybe Troy Smith. I hate that team, too.
So he's either the 3rd, 4th, or 5th worst QB in the league.
I would run Wildcat in 9 of those scenarios. You just got me over having a quarterback, I think. I really would.
So...
I'm trying to think. Who won this game last time they played?
I can't remember.
It was the Jets. It was a night game, right?
I'm going to look it up. Yeah. The Dolphins had it, and then Chad Henne... They were inside the 10 first down, and they threw every down. It was terrible.
Right. Yeah.
These games are always. I shouldn't say always, but it seems like these games usually are close. These Jets-Dolphins.
Well, we had all the Dolphins games seemed pretty close, and we had them. We move around. Going into last Sunday, we're like, these early games stink. So the Giants made the big screen for about 10 minutes, and then they went up 14-0. And then we were just switching other teams. Then we had the Jags, Tennessee on. And all along, Cleveland was close, and we didn't ever once consider it because it's just almost unwatchable.
Every time we looked at that game, the punter was on the field for somebody. It was just punting over and over again. That was awful.
All right, KC at San Diego.
Ooh. This is a good one, huh?
Well, it is. NBC was considering flexing this in to replace Dallas, Philly, but then they didn't. I think they're probably glad they didn't because it may not mean as much.
Well, I think it means something.
Well, but now they're 2 games behind. But yeah, I actually do think San Diego could still do this. KC, if they lose this, I think they're at St. Louis next week.
KC has at San Diego, at St. Louis, home for Tennessee, home for Oakland.
Yeah, I mean San Diego has home against San Fran, at Cincy, and then
Oakland beat them already.
That's right, yeah.
I'm not counting out San Diego, but that was a disgraceful loss last week.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand that at all.
I'm going to say Chargers by 7.5.
All right, I said 7, and I got it. It's 7. Nice.
What's the score right now?
8-7, and there are 3 left. This is where you.
This is when I turn it on usually.
Make your move. Yeah. We haven't talked teasers or anything. We don't like any of these games, huh?
Well, we'll do that after.
We probably should stay away because last week, not only did we give out a 3-team teaser winner, I think we gave a 5-team teaser winner out. So
we did.
We'll get shellacked this week.
And then we did a 3-teamer that didn't even involve one of the 5 teams that we promoted in the podcast, with the Rams plus 6.5, and that one too.
Yeah. All right, Denver at Arizona.
The game of the year in reverse. What a horrible game.
Yeah. The new coach gets Arizona.
Cards by 2.5.
All right.
I have no idea what this line is. That's the first guess I've had all year. We're just guessing.
Oh, good. All right. I thought you said Denver. I said Denver by 1.5. It's Denver by 3.
I was up by 5.5.
Yeah. Excellent. I might actually win this week. I can only tie.
So so the new coach bumped that line at least 3 points.
I know. What's the opposite of being thrown to the Lions? You get to go to Arizona in your first game.
Yeah, that is pretty good.
Yeah.
I should have guessed that. I forgot to factor in the new coach. I deserve to lose this week now.
Yeah. This is
too bad I'm going to hit the next 2 exact.
All right. Well, this one, near and dear to us, Philly at Dallas. We'll be front and center watching this live.
I'm surprised you didn't hit this.
Huh?
I can't believe you didn't hit this exact.
I didn't.
Eagles by 3.
Yeah, well, that's what I said, and it's 3.5.
Oh!
Yeah. It was 3. And then I don't know what happened. I think they heard that we were going to the game, and that means Cowboys can't win.
Des Bryant half-point bump.
Yeah.
Being out. Sorry about that, by the way. I know that was one of your silver linings.
That stunk. Yeah. I had high hopes from the win Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
Bradford would have been tough to beat, but at least it would have been fun to watch. But I'm available to return kicks Sunday if they want.
I'm excited. I finally get to see the big stadium.
It really is going to be great. You have a book signing there, and we're going to go.
We're bringing our friend Brad, who really should never be allowed in public.
If he passes a TSA screening, it'll be a miracle, and not because anything on his person that he's trying to smuggle in, although that could be an issue too, but because he will go off on anyone who looks at him the wrong way, let alone pat downs or anything that's mandated by the government.
He's the only person I've ever heard, other than in a movie, use the word mad dogging for somebody who's staring at him too long. The guy is mad dogging me.
What did that guy do? What did he do? He was rooting for his team, and
he was rooting for his team, and then he mad dogged Brad. Brad didn't like it.
Yeah, I like when Ross was about to tweet about how he's who he's watching football with. We got on Ross's case for tweeting, like for name dropping in tweets, and he's like, "I'm going to tweet that I'm watching with Bill Simmons and Cousin Sal," and Brad goes, "Who gives an F who you're watching football with? Really? Who cares? You think
Why would somebody care about that?"
All right. Well, it's going to be
fun to spend a week with him.
Yep.
Weekend.
Monday, Baltimore at Houston.
I'm doing this pick for pride. Ravens by 4.5.
All right. I said 3.5, and it's 3.
Wow.
Tough. I don't know why I like Houston a little. They've had 11 days to rest, but they're another team I want to just go away, right?
I like Houston too, and I'll tell you another thing. Not totally sold on this Ravens team.
Mm-hmm.
Even watching that Pittsburgh game pretty carefully, they made 2 long plays. They had that long, it was like 3rd and 15 from their own 5 or whatever, and he just chucked it downfield for Bolden, and Bolden caught it.
Right.
But I didn't feel like they controlled the game at all. And what happened to Ray Rice this year?
I don't know why he's getting bottled up as much. I mean, like we said, you're not gonna come out looking like champs against the Steelers, but just the whole year he's been bottled up, and they don't score enough points to be considered in the elite. You know?
Could we see? Let's say the Ravens choke in that one, the Colts win, Jags win. I'm still not willing to. We could see a Jags and Colts make it somehow. We got 4 games left. Ravens are 8-4.
If the Ravens are 8-5 and the Colts are 7-6, I have to say I didn't see who.
Yeah, all right. Now we promised we wouldn't do the confusing who beats what. They did. Ravens and Colts didn't play each other though.
They have not, no, and they don't. I don't think.
Oh, I just looked at the Ravens schedule. So they're at Houston, home for New Orleans, at Cleveland, and then home for Cincinnati.
Yeah. Well, if
Right.
they win that last one, they'll win it, but those two in between could be tough. You know what the problem is? They're playing January football in December, and that you can't do that. That's cheating. You're going to get...
Wait, can you hold on 1 second?
Yeah.
Excuse me, I'm on the phone. Yeah. People just come into hotels now.
Wow.
Just walk in now. 12-year-old guy right at my room clean. Why is somebody coming into my room?
Well,
they knock once, they come in.
Maybe they wanted to taunt you for losing your first time in 7 weeks against me.
What's our record now?
All right, now it's I'm 3-7-4. I still have a lot of work to do.
All right, let's talk teases quickly.
Let's do it. I worry that
I think it's a non-tease week.
Cincinnati. Pittsburgh's beating Cincinnati, right?
No, I'm staying away. I wouldn't. I think since he's due for a weird win.
You're crazy. All right.
I don't think this is a tease week. I think we recommend everybody stays away.
You're right. We had too many winners last week.
You know what this could be? This could be take a couple
plus 3.5 or something.
No, this could be take a couple plus 350, plus 400 teams and try to hit
that high. Well, that would include
the
Carolina
Bengals,
over Atlanta. You don't want that.
Bengals plus 350. Panthers plus 270. Rams plus 370.
Well, I like the Rams better than the Panthers, but
Chiefs plus 250.
Mm-hmm.
Cowboys plus 165.
Woohoo!
Texans plus 130.
Yeah, one of those home teams at night will win.
What did we say the Seahawks-Niners line was?
It's 4.5.
Oh yeah, so Seahawks are plus 180.
I'm not watching that.
This feels like it's going to be a weird week. I'm afraid of this week.
Let me ask you this. I need a little help here. I'm still in this suicide pool, and it's gotten to a point where I have to take 2 teams now.
Oh.
It's crazy. So here's who I have left. Here are my choices. San Fran over Seattle, which I really don't want to do.
Yeah.
Jacksonville over Oakland, which I think I have to go with.
Yeah, I like that one.
Denver over Arizona. They're just better.
Arizona stinks.
So those last 2?
Yeah. Yeah, those stinks.
That's what I'm doing.
So, Dallas, this Sunday. Be nice to us, Cowboy fans. Hey, what jersey are you going to wear?
Maybe Dandy Don Meredith. Maybe I'll dig it up.
Hey, can you believe he was only 72?
I know.
I would have guessed 92.
It is weird. Yeah, because you figure Cosell would be 105, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm getting. We have a lot to do in Dallas. I'm going to get to that book signing. I think I'm going to help you sign books so we can get out of there early.
I've already advised security that you're not allowed at the book signing.
Really?
Yeah.
I was going to set up at the booth and sign Keith Olbermann's book right next to you. But
good segue because I'm in New York tonight at the Borders in Penn Plaza, in Washington tomorrow night, San Francisco Thursday, and then Dallas on Saturday. All the details are on ESPN.com. The paperback. The Book of Basketball, some new stuff in there. I actually spent 8 weeks kind of tinkering with it, tightening the book, adding a few things. So
you tightened the book. I mean, what did you do? You rip pages out, right?
I actually physically ripped pages out. I was like, I hate page 169. It's got to come out.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stand beside you and rip pages out of the hardcover and then just have you sign it for people.
I can't think of anything worse than you coming to the book signing. I'm going to have to put pictures of you.
Dan this person. Let me just plug Jimmy Kimmel Live. Dan Aykroyd, Brian Austin Green Bag is on. Helen Mirren, Mario Batali, John Krasinski. That's not just one night. That's the rest of the week.
I'm so glad you brought this up because I watched last night and the guy from Boone from Lost was on. And he was bragging about how he makes these pizzas. And our cousin, who fancies himself as the world's #1 celebrity chef, and who also has a giant pizza oven, and who believes that he makes better pizzas than anybody on the planet. So now this guy's like, you got to try my pizza. Brings it out, and on the air, Jimmy has to take a bite of the pizza.
It's not fair, right? It's just not fair.
The kid was done. The kid could have brought the best slice of pizza that's ever been made in the history of mankind, and Jimmy wouldn't have liked it.
Right. And I here's the thing. I don't even know. I don't know what this guy's on, what show he's promoting, but it's bad enough these people come on and promote their crappy shows, and I'm not saying he's one of them, but if you start bringing food on, Jimmy should be allowed to tell you what is, right?
Right.
You're getting too much bang for your buck there. But
Jimmy takes a bite. He's like, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Flavorful.
But deep down, I knew he wanted to give the kid a 3-minute sermon on what he did wrong with the pizza and tips. Oh, you put a little oregano on here. Crust is a little lukewarm.
Right.
Because he was holding back. It was great. I was
When you
dying.
describe it as flavorful and almost like a question, a tone of your voice is in question.
It was great. Somebody's got to put that on YouTube. I just want to watch that over and over again and enjoy it. All right, Cousin Sal, we'll see you this weekend.
See you in Dallas. Woo!
So I get to sign off. Whoa!
Thank you for downloading the B.S Report with Bill Simmons.
Too much fun.
Check out more podcasts at the iTunes Music Store or at Podcenter at ESPNRadio.com.
Peace out.
Thanks, Bill. Geez, after all that witty and observant sports analysis, it's getting a little warm in here. Oh, wait, forget it. It's actually these ridiculously warm and tasty Subway melts. The new Chipotle chicken and cheese fresh toasted on flatbread. And the new Chipotle steak and cheese built fresh from the bread up with melted in flavor. Just look at that melty cheese. Just want to roll up my sleeves and dive face first into the Italian BMT. The biggest, meatiest, tastiest, and melted till the cheese bubbles in